Today we are talking about all or nothing thinking, especially as it relates to weight loss, health, and GLP-1 medications. I personally, if we haven't met yet, hello, I personally am on Zepbound. I just started Zepbound about a month ago, and I've been doing some exploring when it comes to my dosing, when it comes to my side effects and things like that. And I made a video about it earlier this week, and some people had some things to say about it, which is amazing. I'm so glad that people are commenting. I asked for and invited people's opinions on what I was thinking about, what I was going to do. But one comment stood out above all the others and really triggered me. It really got me good. Okay. Sorry. The sun, I'm at a weird angle. The afternoon is happening, but we're going to get through it. Don't pay attention. We're going to get through it. I just finished at the dentist too. So if you notice my mouth drooping, I'm not having a stroke. My mouth is numb. So, but I had to get this off my chest because I've been thinking about it since like 5 o'clock this morning when I first saw the comment, the message, and it is now 3:15 in the afternoon. So I have to get this off my chest. But here's the thing. I am somebody who is very sensitive to medications. I'm somebody who wants to explore my options when it comes to starting new medications, when it comes to titrating up or down on medications. And my last video was all about figuring out the best dose for me to maintain effectiveness of the medication, right? To keep the appetite suppression, to keep that sense of fullness when I'm done eating, to keep me from thinking about food all the time, right? I want to maintain that, but I want to find the lowest effective dose so that I am not experiencing a high level of unpleasant, unsustainable side effects. Isn't that what we're all looking for? Enter my friend, I won't say her name, but my friend who left this comment for me. She said something, I'll put it on the screen, but I'm just going to remember it because it is seared into my brain. But she said something basically along the lines of, you're thinking about this too much. You're making it so hard on yourself. She didn't say this, but basically like you're being stupid. You're being ridiculous. You're being over the top. You're being too much. If you're going to think about it this much and mess around with it this much so early on, why don't you just not do it at all? Right? Just why even do it? Why even take this medication if you're going to be messing around with it? Right? Then she also mentioned that she and 9 of her friends are all starting this medication. They're all just doing what their doctor says. They're all just, chugging along, getting in line, suffering through the side effects like big girls and boys. And, that's the way to do it. Everybody's fine. Nobody's acting like me. Okay. That's what she said. They're not acting like you. Okay, friend. So like I said, I was a little triggered. I was triggered. Okay. I was triggered. However, as a therapist, as a mental health professional, I was aware that I was triggered. And so it made me start to think about what must be going on for people who are so narrow-minded when it comes to weight loss, health, and GLP-1 medications. These people are very play by the rules, don't step out of line, don't question authority, don't question the rules. You just shut up and take it. And if you're suffering, then too bad. Maybe it'll be better next week. Just do what you're supposed to and don't ask any questions. Why are people like that? Well, I have a lot of theories. I'm not going to, diagnose anybody or psychoanalyze anybody. But I think what happens when people kind of come at it with this mindset is that at some point, maybe they were creative, maybe they were expressive, maybe they had a spark as kids or young people. And then somewhere along the way that got squished. That became dangerous to ask questions or to question authority or to experiment, right? Because experimenting means that there's a potential for failure. And if you fail, in some families or in some schools or in some communities, that's not okay. So it's better to just do what you're told, stick with it, or else don't even try. And I empathize with people who are in that position. I genuinely do. I'm not angry at you. I can't blame you for that. That sucks. That's actually really sad, honestly. However, I'm somebody who, I've had my sparkle dulled over the years at times, but I'm in perimenopause now and I do not care. I literally do not care anymore. I don't know if you've seen that lady, Melanie, on Instagram and probably TikTok. I don't know, but she started the We Do Not Care Club. And I am a proud member of the We Do Not Care Club. Because here's the deal, guys, like everything is a social construct. Yes, there are some things that are actual laws. There are some things that are rules. There are things that are meant to keep us safe. For instance, with Zepbound itself, there have been many, many studies done. The scientists who put Zepbound together and before it finally got released, they had to do a lot of research. They had to go through a lot of steps. They had to figure out the safest way, and they had to just pick doses and try them out, right? And see what they could do. And so that's what got approved. But that's for our safety, right? I totally understand that. That is for our safety. The guidelines are for our safety. So there's rules, there's laws, there's all kinds of stuff. But then on the other hand, we have to be responsible for ourselves, right? We have to be responsible for ourselves. There's another channel on here, a woman named Allie. I believe it's called Fit Flavor Fun. I really think. She just put out a video talking about this guy who is now, he has a lawsuit against Mochihealth, okay? Because long story short, he got his medication, he got semaglutide from Mochihealth, and he's claiming that the nurse practitioner, moved him up in dose even though he wasn't ready. And he had told her that he had tried semaglutide in the past and had ended up in the emergency room before. And then he sought it out again through Mochihealth, told her about that. And then for some reason, she still wanted him to go up in dose. But my problem with this whole situation, and then he's suing because he ended up in the hospital again because he had a bad reaction to the semaglutide. That's the long and short of it. But the problem is this man had a bad reaction before, okay? He had a bad reaction before. He had the conversation with his provider. I don't know what that conversation looked like. But at the end of the day, if my doctor tells me, hey, Megan, you've been on, let's say my doctor said, hey, you've been on Zepbound 2.5 for 4 weeks. The dosing schedule says now it's time to go up to 5 milligrams. So you should go up to 5 milligrams. If my doctor said that to me this past week, I would have laughed at him and said, absolutely not. I'm not ready to go up to 5 milligrams. In fact, I don't even want to stay at 2.5 milligrams. I would like to take a step down, please. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's my responsibility, I think. That is my responsibility. That's not my doctor's responsibility to be in my body, to know what my side effects are. My responsibility is to listen to my body, is to educate myself as best I can with the information that's available, which now there is so much information available easily. You don't even have to read a book, but there are books available now. There are a bunch of YouTube channels, not only from lay people, but from doctors, from nutritionists, from pharmacists. Like, there's so much available information now that it is actually, I think, irresponsible to not educate yourself if you are going to be taking a GLP-1 medication, okay? So that's my opinion. So what this woman was telling me, right, is it doesn't matter how you feel. You need to suck it up. You need to just stay the course, do what you're told, and don't look back, right? And that is what ended that guy up in the hospital. because he listened to a doctor even though he didn't agree with the doctor. Like, the doctor can write the prescription, but you, especially with Mochihealth, which is they do compounding medication, so like you can draw as much or as little as you want into that syringe. Nobody else is forcing you, right? Nobody's standing over your shoulder drawing out the correct amount, okay? It's up to you. It's up to you to know how you're feeling in your body. It's up to you to know what your side effects are. It is up to you to know what your food noise is like, what your fullness is like, what your appetite suppression is like. And if your doctor is telling you something that makes you feel uneasy or that makes you say, I don't think I agree with that, I don't know if that's right for me, that's your job. That's your job, is to know yourself, is to understand yourself, and to advocate for yourself. I have worked in healthcare for over 14 years. I've worked in healthcare for a long time. During the pandemic, I worked in a hospital, okay? I sat next to doctors and nurses all day long for 3 years. I worked in a hospital doing discharge planning and social work, okay? So I'm not a doctor. Sorry, disclaimer, should have said it sooner. I'm not a doctor, but I am a licensed mental health professional. And so I sat next to doctors day in, day out, watched them Google it on their phone, okay? Watch them Google stuff on their phone, which I do too, okay? As a therapist, I Google stuff all the time. But my point is, doctors are people. They're just human beings, okay? They cannot all be experts on everything all at once. And so if you are not getting a good vibe from your healthcare provider in regards to your GLP-1 medication management and your weight loss management, find a different doctor. Find a different doctor. Find a nurse practitioner. Find a different prescriber. Find a friendly pharmacist that you can consult with, whatever you need to do. But don't just sit there and take it from a doctor that you don't have a great relationship with or that you don't feel comfortable with in regards to what they're telling you to do with your medication. I'm going to give one last example of why just everybody's not the same and everybody's different and everyone needs to figure out what works for themselves and why there's nuance in the world and everything isn't just black and white. One more example and then my rant will be over, I promise you. Maybe. I gotta go, so it's gonna be over. But here's the deal and why I'm so passionate about this, okay? I have been gaslit my whole life. And I am sick of it, all right? I'm over it. I am old enough now. I've lived enough life. I've worked in the medical field long enough that I am over it, okay? So here's my story. Over the summer, I started having horrific allergic reactions. This happened the entire summer. Nobody knew what was wrong with me. I went to the emergency room. I went to urgent care. I went to my own doctor. I went to a nurse practitioner. I went to an ear, nose, and throat doctor. I went to an allergist. Like, you name the specialist, I saw the doctor. I've probably seen every ER and urgent care provider in my immediate area, okay? That's how I spent thousands of dollars on medical care over the summer because I was having allergic reactions and nobody knew why. Nobody could figure it out. I kept getting prescribed antibiotics and steroids over and over and over again. Antibiotic, steroid, take a Benadryl, antibiotic, steroid, Benadryl, right? That was all people could offer me. And nobody knew what was causing it. So it just kept happening over and over again. As soon as I would finish a round of steroids, my eye would puff up again. I knew in my heart of hearts and my gut that this was not sustainable, right? This was not a sustainable thing for me to continue. I needed to get to the root of it. I needed to figure it out. I could not live like that. It was awful. It was awful. It was affecting my work. It was affecting my personal life. It was affecting my health, my blood pressure, everything, okay? It was awful. Because steroids are terrible for you if you don't know. They're a lifesaver in an emergency or if you have certain chronic issues, but they are horrible for your long-term health. So I went to an independent, holistic nurse practitioner. I told her my story. She spent time with me, and she referred me to a specialist who is a dermatologist who focuses on skin allergies. I saw that man. I paid him $1,500 out of my own pocket because my insurance did not cover the testing. I drove 6 hours in 1 week, right? An hour back and forth 3 times to get skin patch testing done. And wouldn't you know it, I had allergies to everything. I had allergies to my shampoo, my conditioner, the lotion I was using, the makeup I was using, the sunscreen I was using, the laundry detergent my family was using, my husband's cologne, my son's cologne. I was allergic to everything. I'm allergic to nickel. I'm allergic to adhesive. I'm allergic to beeswax. I am allergic to all of these things. And so the answer for me wasn't to just keep taking allergy medicine and steroids and antibiotics. That was not the answer for me. The answer for me was that I am not allowed to use the same products that everybody else in my family and everybody else in my neighborhood and everybody else in my community is able to use. I can't use it. Otherwise I flare up. I get rashes on my hands. I get rashes on my face. I get rashes on my chest. I can't do the same things that everybody else can do. Okay. I had to change the chapstick that I use. I can only use pure Vaseline now. I used to use Aquaphor, but it has lanolin in it. I'm allergic. I have to carry my own portable, little dissolvable sheets of soap because I can't use hand soap in a public bathroom. This is how I have to live my life because I have allergies. You don't have to live your life that way. Probably 99% of you. You're just fine. It's totally fine. You can use whatever hand soap you happen to come across. Bath and Body Works, Dial, Dove, doesn't matter. You could use whatever you want, right? Doesn't bother you. You can slather beeswax all over yourself. You can lather yourself in lanolin. Doesn't matter. You can touch nickel doorknobs all day long. You're fine. You and your 9 friends, totally fine doing all of that. If I do that, I have severe allergic reactions and I have to go on steroids. So my point is, my rant is over. My point is, there is nuance in life. Everything is not black and white. Everybody's body is different. One dose of medication is not going to work the same for everybody that you know. I'm sure to this lady and her 9 friends, even amongst the 10 of them, there's got to be some variations, right? Some of you might have constipation. Some of you might have diarrhea. Some of you might have headaches. Some of you might have dry mouth. I'm sure not every single person is having the exact same experience, even though you're all taking the exact same medication at the same time, at the same dose. I implore you, before you approach your weight loss, your medication management, your life in a way that is all or nothing, in a way that is either you do exactly what you're told and don't ask any questions, or you might as well give up. I would implore you to just take a minute, just a moment, take a breath, check in with your body, check in with how you're feeling, and think, I wonder if there's anything I could do for myself to improve this experience. For me, you don't have to suffer. You do not have to suffer for no good reason. If I had just done my 2.5 milligram shot in my stomach this past week, like I did every week before, could it have just gotten better? Maybe it would have. Maybe week 3 was just a fluke week and week 4 would have been fine. But that wasn't a risk I was willing to take because I have free will And I knew that the option to take less of the medication, to take it at a different time of night, to inject it into a different injection site, that all of these things are things that I could freely do without a lot of risk that could improve my experience. And I'm not somebody who's so desperate to lose weight so fast that I don't have time to experiment, right? That I don't have time to have a week where maybe I don't lose weight, okay? I'm somebody who, it's fine. I've been this weight for a couple years now. It's not going to be the end of the world if I don't lose 2 pounds this week. It was worth it to me to take care of my body, to take care of my mind, to take care of my mental well-being, decrease the dose, see how it went, and have a better week. So if you're a rule follower, I'm sorry. You don't have to follow all the rules without asking questions. Ask questions. Ask your doctor. I asked my doctor. He ended up saying, that's fine, take a lower dose. Definitely don't go up in dose. And if you want to explore compounded options so that you can microdose, go ahead. So that's it. That's all. I don't even know. That was a long rant. If you're still watching, thank you so much. Please subscribe. I'm trying to grow my channel so I can get monetized, so I can pay for my medications. And I love you. If you disagree with me, that's fine too. Go ahead. Put it in the comments. I've been in these YouTube streets for 2 years now on my other channel. Go ahead. Give me what you got in the comment. But that's what I have. That's my rant for the day. That's what I woke up to at 5 a.m. when I opened my YouTube studio and saw the notification. So thank you for watching. I love you. I will come back on Saturday with my weigh-in and it'll be great. It'll be great. Spoiler alert, it's already going pretty well. I'm much happier this week than I was last week. Today is Tuesday. And last week on Tuesday, I was having the worst day of my life. So today, I'm having a great time. I feel great. I'm not super hungry and I don't have the bad side effects. So, experimenting worked for me. So that's it. See you Saturday. Bye, guys.